So this is the second episode of our Agent is in uh, webinar is what we call it, I guess. But it's really, like I said, like we're trying to make it just a community meetup. People can just show up. Nick has been doing this kind of in-house, so to speak, for a long time, weekly. So everybody just shows up and they'll ask questions about policy and things like that. If they don't have anything to ask about, Nick will just start walking through something he's working on. And we had the idea of opening it up to the community so we can get to know each other a bit better and whatnot. Today, Jeff Carlson has joined us to show some cool stuff that he uses to write policy a little bit more, or maybe a lot more efficiently. Other exciting news is we are actually releasing 3.18.0 LTS today. So
wow.
We're working on that right now. So we've everything looks good and we're going to release. Yeah, so maybe Jeff, you can get started showing your stuff and we'll just go from there.
Okay, so I guess I'll take over. I'm assuming that I was not sharing for a moment. Okay.
There you go. I can see it.
Again. Okay. Yeah. So Nick has been trying to get me to show this off for a while, and so disappointed that he's not here. Quite a while back, I got tired of always having to go through the documentation to remember what needed to go into a bundle. So I decided to write up a series of templates. I am a very long time Emacs user, and there is a package in Emacs called YA snippet or YA snippet, which of course means yet another snippet, which allows you to have some templates that basically expand when you type in a word and then hit the tab key. Oh, which reminds me, I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. All right. So go ahead. This is the set of policy that I'm kind of building up. We'll open a new file. Okay, so in CFEngine 3 mode. By the way, is that enough introduction to YA snippet, or do I need to go further into that before I continue with my own bits and pieces?
I think it works for me. I think showing policy and you working with policy is going to be super cool. So yeah, I'd say get into it.
Okay. All right. Okay, so as anybody who's written policy or read through the documentation or anything, or Diego's book or anything like that, would know, there are two types of top-level objects. You can either have a bundle or a body. 90% or more of the time, I feel like what you're going to be writing is an agent bundle. So in order to get started, once you have the have this package installed, which probably should cover installing it. So let's circle around to that at the end. Once you have it installed, it matches the major mode, which this is just in Emacs, this is an abbreviation showing CFE3 there. So it's CFEngine 3 mode. And when it's active, you'll get this in the menu. You have YA snippet right there. And here we have my CFEngine 3 mode. And then all of the various types of things that can be selected. And I'm not going to bother going through all of that through the menu because that's a very complex way to go about things. Don't want to do that. So, all right, we'll start with an agent bundle. So all I have to do is type the word agent, and then I hit the tab key. And this gives me the basic framework of an agent bundle with all of the various promise types already filled out. Now you can leave these blank because if you don't have any, or you don't have to add anything under the promise types, because if you don't have any actual promises underneath them, CFEngine is just going to skip over them. So you can leave them intact if you're not filling them out. But first thing we need to do is name the bundle, and that is, let's just call it main. And then if I hit tab again, that just drops me to the very end of the bundle. So generally to start, I add variables, which I would hope that most people who are using CFEngine also do. Okay, so hit the enter key, put us on a new line, and we want a variable. And in order to use the snippet library to add any promises, all you have to do is repeat the promise type. So in this case, I'm under vars, and I just type in vars. And if you have any kind of an autocomplete framework, so I'll just erase that real quick, or actually just the Emacs standard completion, which is meta slash, that should do it. One thing I do want to warn you about is there's no sensitivity as to what part of the actual file you're under. So like if I were to undo this and type the M and then try to expand that, I could add a meta promise here instead of a vars promise, which would be, in CFEngine syntax in the wrong place. So that's not done for you. You do need to actually add the right promise type wherever you are. So I'll go back to vars. Again, standard Emacs key binding to expand any word is the meta slash. All right, now if I hit tab, these are all the various promise properties that a vars promise can have. At the top are the standard properties that any promise can have. And then underneath those, so basically up until the keyword with, or the property type of with, so action through with, that's standard for any promise. And then these are the various promise properties specific to vars. All right, so let's do, and we'll name it names. And if I hit tab again, it just puts me at the very bottom. So from here, we just use whatever we want, whichever properties we want, and then we will delete the rest. So I find it easier to have more than I need than not enough, because obviously if I don't have enough, I have to go through and look them up. And the entire idea was not to have to look everything up, just have it all done for me. So I'm going to pick on Craig again. We met earlier in the week, and I used him as an example, so I'm going to add myself and him here. Okay, so just getting a list. We'll make this a string list. If I hit tab on the property, Ta-da. And I like to have lists one item per line, so I find it easier to read. So sorry, mistyped. And myself. And of course, there we go. All right, and I don't really need the rest of these, so bam. Okay, so far so good?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Greg.
Mhm.
I know, I'm like waiting for all these people to like start saying yes.
It's a
All
bit
right.
of a mess sometimes, but
Okay,
somebody's
yeah.
got to do it.
Avoid the chaos. So another example where we might fill in more things is to have a file, and again, simply the name of the promise type, and I can expand that, standard key binding of meta slash, then I hit the tab key. Okay, and now we have everything that can be a file, or every property for files.
Yeah, Jeff, one thing I just thought of when I was looking at this is the order that you have the promise types there is significant,
Yeah, they're
isn't it?
alphabetical. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
alphabetical. Okay.
Yeah, so the common ones between all promise types, they're alphabetized at the top, and then they're alphabetical for that particular promise type after the promise property of with.
No, I was thinking of the top level promise types. They're in this kind of what we call normal ordering, right? Like the meta, vars, default classes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of helpful.
Yes. Yeah, the promise types are in the standard order so that you don't have to worry about, oh, what gets run first? Is it vars before defaults or defaults before vars? No, this is the order in which CFEngine will evaluate them. Okay, so let's just create, I mean, this is a simple example, right? So we'll just do. All right, so I'm going to create a file with each of our names and jump to the bottom. All right, what do we want to do with this file? We want to create, and if they're Booleans, they show up with true or false as the options. And if the promise type takes a body, then I have a list of all the bodies in the common library. And those will expand as well. Let's go ahead and put a few other items in here. We'll add some classes. So since classes can be either a promise to itself, or in this case, it is the property that takes a body, choose the body classes. And I find that I use a lot of the if repaired. And I know that Nick very frequently recommends to people to use the results body, but I like if repaired. I also have, oh, I still forgot to turn on the automatic expansion, but whatever. I have a couple abbreviations. And I can say, now if this was an edit default, or no, wait. Edit line, right? Yeah, now that will require a bundle, and then instead of choosing from bodies, I also have all of the bundles available. So I think this is the right one. I haven't used this in a while, so I don't remember which one's which. No. Wait, is that what I just did? I think I just did the same thing twice.
I guess it's that other one,
Yeah.
bundle. Then you can have a parameter for the lines that you want inserted.
Yeah.
Cool.
There we go.
There you go.
Sorry. Right, and then we can say okay, so here's the properties that I want for this file, and I can just go ahead and get rid of everything else.
It might be interesting if there was like a key sequence to say like clean up, you know, because I really like the idea of having everything there, like you said, so you don't have to look things up. But it'd be kind of neat if you could just like have a thing that just goes poof and it blows away everything that didn't end up getting on like a right hand side. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, so if the indentation is still at only 6 spaces instead of 8 or a tab, then that
Yeah.
line goes away.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure that there would be some way to do that. I just don't know. Actually, you know what? Let me try.
Oh yeah, don't try necessarily.
So let's do.
Oh, do some fancy Emacs editing.
Yeah. Okay,
Just as
so
long as,
I have another package installed, multiple cursors. I
oh
have
yeah.
this bound to. I start with Alt S and then M for multiple cursors, and I also have I forgot the name of the package that shows you basically what your options are, but it pops up with the menu of the various.
Oh right, like mark all like this or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
Nick uses Space Max and he's got a lot of this stuff coming
yeah.
up.
Yeah. Just a word of about that. I don't use Space Max. I don't use Evil Mode. I'm not a VI fan, so I don't like those various things that mess with the key bindings.
Right.
So
Standard Emacs.
yeah, standard Emacs for me. So
Cool.
anyway, I guess I could do all in this case, and that's not what I want. No. Mark next. Next. I don't know. That might have been more trouble than it was worth, but
Yeah.
no. Yeah, can do that.
So Jeff, I don't know if you can see the chat or not, but I assume your GitHub for this snippet stuff is Jeff Carlson 72.
That is correct.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, it looks like that's the right link, Lou. Cool. That's in chat. Yeah. Cool.
Where's the chat? There we go.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, so I just thought I'd put that out there passively. So if somebody came through over it.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I was going to get to that at the end. This pretty much covers how to use the library, so I think that this is sufficient at this point. Does everybody agree with that? Kind of showing off how to use it?
Yeah. Maybe people have questions and things. Comments?
Yeah. Let me. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
So yeah, if your audio doesn't work too well, maybe just put it in chat. This is where the fun video conferencing problems start. So yeah. Which always happen. So yeah, if we can't hear you, just write it in chat and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, it's only 2021. You would think that they could fix these things.
We joke about that almost all the time, like in stand up and everything. It's just like,
yeah,
the amount of time that we use this stuff.
Telephones have only been around for over 100 years, and I mean, why do we still have bad connections there? I can't figure that one out. Okay, since you already made this link, thank you for that. It saves me having to dig for it. And why is this slow? Okay. No. I thought that would just open in a new tab.
It's keeping you safe. Are you sure you want to go? Is it safe? Is it a safe link?
Well, where's the don't proceed?
Right. There isn't one. That's the classic UI problem. Are you sure you want to reformat your hard drive? Okay. Yeah, so you installed Emacs and then
oh, okay. It is a new tab. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fine. All right.
So amazingly, we only have 3 minutes left. So if anybody has any questions, chat them up.
Okay, so actually probably the best thing to do is just go ahead and so if you're an Emacs user, the installation is pretty simple. You would just go into your .emacs.d directory in your home directory, and in your, after you've installed YaSnippet, you just add a subdirectory under emacs.d, snippets, and git clone right here, and then rename it to just CFEngine 3 mode, because once you clone it, it's going to be Emacs YaSnippet CFEngine 3 mode. So you need to get rid of the Emacs YaSnippet and the final dash there, or the second dash, and just leave it as CFEngine 3 mode. It just has to match the major mode in Emacs, and that'll do it.
Cool. That's nice that you can git clone it into there. I suppose somebody could be fancy and write a custom git promise to keep it up to date all the time.
Yeah, I suppose that could
It could be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, organized into the basic types of what everything is. And let's see.
Well, Jeff, I think
this was right from Git.
cool. I think at this point we just have like a minute left. I think we might have to consider lengthening the period of time or leaving it maybe even open-ended. I'm not sure.
All right. Should I end the share?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and end the share. Thank you so much for spending some time with us getting ready and also presenting today. I really appreciate that. It's really cool to see what people are doing and how they're doing stuff with CFEngine and whatnot. And this is it for, I mean, I can't believe it's so short, but I guess it is. So we'll think about how it works. And if anybody has any ideas, they want to present something that they're working on next time, that'd be awesome. Yeah, just everybody stay in touch. And yeah.
One thing I will add is that I do hang out on the CFEngine IRC channel on Libera Chat.
Yes.
So if anybody has any further questions for me, you can reach me there. Also, if you have contacts for Craig or somebody like that, Craig has my email and knows how to get a hold of me.
Mm-hmm.
And so does Nick, who's also in the IRC chat quite a bit, except for today, I guess.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, there's several of us that are usually in the IRC chat, so we're present.
Yeah, so I'm not hard to find.
Sounds good. Well, thanks everybody for joining. Cody, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say this session is being recorded and will be available on YouTube for future reference. If you weren't able to make the first session last month, that is also on YouTube at the moment, so you can take a look at that. Yeah, other than that, thanks everybody for joining and have a great rest of your day.